Good people, what is going on? Another episode of the All Go Podcast. I'm your host, Desmond. Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Wanted to talk about a couple things. So, first, the news came out with Abdul Carter that it sounds like he is healing from the foot injury. And of course, his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, is saying that this is a non issue and he should be ready for training camp, was what I thought I read. And he Drew Rosenhaus mentioned that this should just be a non-issue for teams at this point, and that is his job to say that and to have that narrative about the foot injury. The fact that he is progressing and his healing is really positive, but nonetheless, I mean, rookie mini camps are going to be starting in less than a month, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it's pretty shortly after the NFL draft. So the fact that he can't play football right now, if a game were to happen, is concerning. Now, if he ends up being healthy and everything's fine, all good, but that would still be something that I would want to keep an eye on because at the end of the day, you just hear it all the time of guys that are on track or ahead of schedule, so on and so forth, where the reports are always extremely positive until it's time to play and it's the rubber's got to meet the road, and now all of a sudden, oh well, had a setback, so on and so forth. So something to keep an eye out on. Like I said, it sounds like he is trending in the right direction, but at the end of the day, teams are going to have to draft Abdul Carter, or a team is going to have to draft him without working him out, without him playing football at all, or any type of workout from the last game that Penn State had. And I'm someone that is a big believer. Don't get fooled by the underwear Olympics. That shouldn't impact, a big positive or negative either way on how you feel about a prospect. But at the end of the day, I would like to see the dude work out. So that doesn't seem like that's going to happen. The draft is we're about I think 18, no, not even 18 days. The 29th, 27th, 29th, something like that. So we're basically call it 2 weeks away. And you're not going to be able to see him work out and run it all. So a little bit of concern. It's different from a guy being healthy and not working out versus a guy who's not healthy enough to work out. So something to definitely keep an eye on there with Abdul Carter. The other thing I wanted to talk about is owners who have lame duck coaches as well as GMs. And the issue with that, when you have a coach that either, similar to like last year with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Mike McCarthy was on the last year of his deal. There was no extension, talk. There was really nothing kind of going on there. The Cowboys are a little unique because their GM is their owner, but it's just not a good situation, especially when you have a GM and a head coach that are both kind of on their last leg. And the reason being is those guys, especially when it comes to the NFL draft, are going to make decisions that are best for the short term and not always best for the long term. And the team I'm referencing is the New York Giants. And I don't know what they're going to do. We will see. All the signs point to Cam Ward being number one, and then a lot of signs are pointing to Abdul Carter number two. But there's also been some reports that the Browns may go Travis Hunter, and in that case, at number three, the Giants would have their choice of Abdul Carter, Shador Sanders, and everyone else on the draft board. But for example, if let's say for sake of argument, Abdul Carter falls to number three, assuming that he's healthy, that would be the guy that you would want to have on your team for the next 10 years in your franchise. He's a pass rusher, which is a premium position. The draft grades are pretty good on him, was a good player at Penn State. So you'd want to have that type of guy on your team. Or if it was Travis Hunter that was there, that was available, that also someone else you'd want on your team. But will they go Shador Sanders and go and get a quarterback? Which I don't think it's a bad pick if you do go Shador, but it just doesn't put you in the best light, the best position to do what's best for the franchise long term. Because most, like, for example, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, there's some I wouldn't say hot seat talk, but there's some pressure on those two to have a much better season this year than they did last year. I don't think they're getting fired by any stretch of the imagination. But when it comes to the 11th pick in the draft, they're going to do what's best for the team because those gentlemen both foresee themselves with the team for the next 5 to 10 years, as far as Lynch and Shanahan. Whereas Joe Shane, as well as Brian Dable, who knows? To me, I saw enough in that Hard Knocks that Joe Shane would have been relieved of his duties because he just did not seem like a leader when it comes to that front office, that scouting department, talking to Coach Dable. He did not look like a guy who he looked like a number two. He didn't look like a number one, a guy who's going to lead the charge and make the difficult decisions. He just didn't seem like he had a grasp of everything that was going on. He's got reports that Saquon's going to go to Chicago. He ends up going to Philly. He had no idea that was going to happen, and and I do understand it from some point, some aspect, because when it comes to free agency, there's just stories and rumors flying everywhere. But I mean, he was way off. So that would have been my decision. Is now Shane, you got to go. I think Dable has shown that he is a solid coach. I think most of the Giants' issues were from Joe Shane deciding to pay Daniel Jones and not Saquon Barkley. And from there, it blew up because you're paying Daniel Jones way too much money. Now he's on another team. Saquon's also gone. Just a mess. Just a mess. So the last thing you want to do is have a coach and a GM that are just kind of lame duck in their positions because the John Mara came out and said, yes, those guys are coming back, but I'm losing my patience. Like we need to win. So my thought, either make a decision. Either those guys are going to get fired and we're cleaning house, or we're going to stick with them. Now you need to show me a plan. What does this look like? But we're going to stick with them. We're going to keep going, and we're going to move forward with those two as far as for the Giants. So we'll see what happens. Not quite sure, but yeah, they're going to have a lot of options. So Cam Ward's going to be gone, and then from there, you're either going to have your pick of Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter, and then everybody else. Mason Graham will be there. I mean, everybody. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, they make the right pick. But yeah, who knows? But that is it for me. Please like and subscribe while you're here. Greatly appreciate it. Peace.